Alright, today we're talking about falling down. And this movie is a prophecy. It's the story of a man who just snapped. And he snapped because the world became so pathetically, constantly frustrating that all his quiet rage finally boiled over. You got Michael Douglas as William Foster, aka D-fens. And I always thought that was a stupid ass name, but we're going with it. And the moment he bails out of his car and leaves it on the freeway with his briefcase, he becomes the poster child of the literally me genre. People see this character and they see themselves. They see a guy who's been playing by the rules his whole life, barely holding it together with scotch tape. And the quiet rage inside of him is the rage you feel when you're stuck in traffic, when the bank charges you a ridiculous fee, when you go into a store and some punk treats you like garbage. It's the rage of feeling like you're doing everything right, but still getting screwed over in the end. And as soon as he steps out of that car, he's not becoming a villain, he's just dropping the facade. He's shedding the suit of responsibility and goes on a suicide mission through Los Angeles. And the metaphor of this movie is the world is becoming a ghetto. Not just a physical ghetto, but a psychological one. A place where every interaction is a confrontation. And this movie is more relevant now than it was 30 years ago. And that's the tragedy. The world has become a gigantic shithole. People are literally killing each other over politicians that don't give a fuck about either one of us. Guys are getting shot in the neck for debating other people at college campuses, all because he said he didn't want his pilot to be a DEI hire. And quite a few other things, but you know what I mean. Boom, shot in the neck. This is where we're at now, and D-fens is walking through a city that's totally broken. The prices are outrageous, the service is non-existent. Try going into a gas station a day or a McDonald's. You ever notice how everyone has their backs turned to you as soon as you walk in? They act like you're not even there. Motherfucker, aren't you trying to get my money? Act like it. And I know from experience, I live in Phoenix, Diet, California, the 5th largest city in the country. I can't step out of the house without getting harassed by fentanyl addicts who are literally outside a gas station selling stolen boxes of diapers to dudes off Facebook Marketplace. Like, for real. Have you ever seen that? Motherfuckers literally go to the store and jack as many boxes of diapers as they can to sell them to new parents off of Craigslist so they can support their fentanyl addiction. I know it sounds crazy, but it's real. If you gotta steal diapers to support your drug addiction, please end yourself. That's why I'm making these videos, so I can make enough money to get the fuck out of here and go move to the woods. So like and subscribe, motherfucker. And D-fens isn't looking for help, he's choosing to confront the world on his own terms. His actions are driven by a need to punish the petty frustrations of modern life, because these small failures validate his feelings of being a victim. And this movie captures the underlying hopelessness felt by a population witnessing the disintegration of social order. But you lose when you try to reclaim control by mirroring chaos. And as much as it would be fun to explode on everyone that ever wronged you, that's not how you get ahead in life. You have to be strategic. Otherwise, you look like a little whiny brat throwing a colossal tantrum because you don't get your way. And D-fens is a self-entitled infant who refuses to accept responsibility. He wants to live in a society without rules. However, he can't stop complaining that we live in a society without order. So what is it? The core irony of falling down is, the chaos he despises is the world he actually created. Society needs rules. It's simple. Without rules, we lose order, and the whole social contract collapses. Rules are the only thing separating civilization to savagery. We need rules that say breakfast service ends at 11 so the kitchen can manage the lunch rush. We need rules that let a small business owner charge a price that allows him to survive, even if that price seems too high to a consumer. And I'm no big fan of rules, I'll be the first one to tell you. I try to break every rule that I'm ever given. However, I do understand the significance of them and their place in society, and I believe actions have consequences. If we're not taking care of our community, it's gonna turn to shit. Therefore, we must have structure, discipline. Otherwise, you got fentanyl addicts selling stolen diapers outside of a McDonald's. D-fens hates these rules because they inconvenience him, but those same rules are the foundation of the order he claims to want. But D-fens is the first person to throw a grown man temper tantrum over the smallest rules that inconvenience him. If he can't get breakfast at lunchtime, he's gonna shoot the place up. If there's road work on the street he's walking down, he's gonna shoot it with a rocket launcher. And I get it, road work sucks. Where I live in Phoenix, it's like every fucking week they have those yellow cones up, causing a traffic jam because they're fixing a problem that our society created. I get it. It's a pain in the ass. But if they don't fix these potholes, you're gonna be complaining about how your car's getting flats every time you drive down the street. It's a give and take. We can't always get our way. We either have two options: suck it the fuck up or drive on another street. Falling down is one man's gigantic temper tantrum. He's fighting for a world where his wants are the only law. It's not order he wants authoritarian compliance with his personal demands. When he pulls the gun on the Korean-owned liquor store or pulls the gun out over a breakfast menu, he proves he's the ultimate agent of chaos. And what's even more ironic, in California now, order is gone, cities are clogged, the cost of living is unmanageable. It's becoming the epitome of the ghettoization d-fens witnessed in '93, but on a massive scale. But isn't this the world d-fens wanted? He wanted the freedom to ignore rules, to assert his power, and lash out at the system, but in this world he would still complain. He'd hate the world he helped usher in. He wants to be the one causing the disorder, not a victim of the disorder caused by others. But for d-fens, his rage has been simmering for years. He was looking for some microscopic slight to validate his internal rage. And that's why his wife has an order of protection on him, because of his propensity to violence. And the movie makes a point to the specific language. The restraining order was granted because of his propensity, unquote, for violence, not because he committed any actual documented physical abuse against her or their daughter. His violence was verbal, emotional, and psychological. His intense frustration created a terrifying atmosphere in the home. And this day is the day that his wife feared would happen. The prophecy realized. And on the other hand, ironically, and not to victim blame, she did help create this monster herself by keeping their daughter from him. If you got a man who's already mentally unstable, threatening to blow up on the world, you're basically throwing a match on gasoline the second you take his daughter away. Now you're playing with fire, and you think the cops are gonna save you? They don't give a fuck. And the only good cop left is retiring that day. And Detective Prendergast, played by Tom Hagen from The Godfather, is the only other guy in the movie who still believes in the system. And he's retiring because he knows it's a lost cause. And his story is a mirror image to d-fens. While d-fens is shedding all responsibility and sanity, Prendergast is spending his final day on the job trying to hold on to both. And his home life's a complete nightmare. His wife is super annoying, breaking his balls constantly. The entire film she's on the phone nagging him, demanding he comes home early, constantly reminding him of her own misery and anxieties. She doesn't give a fuck that there's a madman literally shooting rocket launchers at civilians. And the irony is, he's retiring, trying to close out his career, but his home life, symbolized by his wife's constant nagging, is a suffocating preview of his future. He's escaping the chaos of the streets only to step into the chaos of domestic life. And us as the viewer can barely deal with her for a minute, and he has to spend the rest of his life with her. The film implies its domestic entrapment is another quieter form of the societal rage that drove d-fens over the edge. And while his old naggy wife is blowing him up and complaining the whole time, he's got this young attractive partner, Detective Sandra Torres. You remember her, that hot Latin brunette from Total Recall? Nice. She's smart, competent, and wants him bad. She's yearning for Tom Hagen's old balls. She must have daddy issues. God bless the poor woman. Though in the film she keeps it professional, she respects him and his marriage, but she represents the road not taken, a chance at passion, connection, and a release from his unhappy marriage. She's the excitement that his marriage lacks. But Prendergast, bound by duty and habit, ignores the opportunity. He's dedicated to his old school code, retiring with honor and coming home to his wife, a faithful husband. And what he represents is the polar opposite of d-fens. He has self-control, honor, and even faced with temptation, he still stays true to his values. And you gotta respect it. This is the discipline we were talking about earlier. And this movie's structured to lead to one inevitable dark collision. The entire narrative of Falling Down is a ticking clock to the confrontation between the two opposite sides of the law. D-fens and Detective Prendergast. The movie's a cat and mouse game, where Prendergast, the retiring cop obsessed with order and rules, is the only one who truly understands D-fens. While the rest of the LAPD sees D-fens as just another armed maniac, Prendergast sees him as a mirror. Because to Prendergast, D-fens is him if he finally decided to lose his shit one day and break the chains of responsibility. This would be Prendergast if he finally snapped. And during the final showdown on the beach, it exposes how fundamentally broken D-fens' mind is. And he questions, I'm the bad guy? I did everything they told me to. That question is the core of D-fens' entire psychosis. In his mind, he's still the hard-working, rule-following, patriotic American man, and he genuinely can't reconcile the reality of his actions. He believes he did everything society told him to. In his mind, the system failed him, and his violence was merely the appropriate response to that betrayal. He doesn't see himself as a murderer or a terrorist. He sees himself as the last true believer of morality. His question isn't genuine curiosity. It's a final desperate plea for validation from an authority figure. And Prendergast tells him, you are the bad guy. D-fens realizes he lost the argument, and the fantasy he built is completely shattered. And also check out that sweet MC Hammer poster in the background. I had that cassette back in the day. And what I think's kind of funny is, as he's losing his mind, cornered on the beach, he says, isn't it hot today? That's pure clinical disassociation. It's like Merceau in that book The Stranger. When he's on trial for murder, he can only remember the overwhelming bright sun, not the gravity of the act itself. When he goes to his mom's funeral, that's the only thing he remembers. The heat and the sun, not the reality in front of him. And basically, he got the death sentence for not weeping at his mom's funeral. And what's kind of crazy is, I'm kind of like that. Whenever I deal with trauma, I try to disassociate and think of something else or completely block that situation out of my mind. That's a little scary now that I think about it. But that's a little common with killers and people undergoing extreme psychological breaks. They lose focus on the moral weight of their actions and latch on to unrelated, mundane physical details. The heat, the traffic noise, the fly buzzing in the car. Shit, in The Godfather, it's the sound of the train. D-fens spent the day committing assault, battery, and murder, but in the end his brain retreats to the most basic, non-threatening observation, the temperature. It proves he never internalized the horror of his deeds. He wasn't processing the violence, he was focused on the petty discomforts. And when he died, he was detached from reality. His last conscious thought wasn't about his daughter or his crimes, it was about the weather. So I guess that's the best case scenario. I guess the moral of the story is, unmanaged self-pity and rage is terminal. The purpose of this movie is to show the destructive result of a man's refusal to adapt. D-fens wasn't fighting society, he was fighting the loss of his own relevance. The world was getting taken over around him by people he didn't identify with. He wanted the world to obey his internal sense of order, and when it didn't, he chose annihilation. But I love this movie. Falling Down isn't a feel-good movie, it's a psychological document about a man who chose to be a glutton for punishment and a victim of his own petty rage. He got the final word in the final dramatic scene, but lost everything that mattered, including the life insurance payout going to his daughter he traumatized. It's a dark mirror, man. Look at D-fens, look at the chaos, and realize you're the one that has to choose order every fucking day. Otherwise, you're gonna go out like this weirdo. And sure, it sounds fun for a day, but you're gonna have to pay it back with your life or the rest of your life behind bars. So suck it the fuck up and try again tomorrow. But this movie's incredible. Growing up, this movie was crazy as hell. We all have a little bit of D-fens in us. And this movie has great scenes. You got that scene with the gay white supremacist. He's a neo-Nazi who runs an army surplus store that serves as a front for his hate-mongering operation. And the central joke is the complete contradiction of his life. He constantly yells slurs at gay people, yet he's secretly gay and in the closet. And what's ironic is the gay couple in his army surplus gun store. What the hell are they doing there? Gay people don't usually shop for army fatigues as fashion. The whole thing didn't make sense, but it's pretty damn funny. But yeah, tell me what this movie means to you. Tell me some of your favorite scenes and your favorite quotes. But to the rest of you, I hope you have a good night. Be safe. Don't be the bad guy. And God bless.